Okay, so now they want us to go, we're just changing forms in these. So they're saying, here's the confidence interval, the percentage, the true percentage of something or other is between 20.2 and 35%. They want us to write it in terms of the fixed percentage, give or take error margin kind of format. So they're just having us practice between changing forms. So how do we do that? How do we change forms? So if I told you, hey guys, I think the true percentage of people who are going to get an A in this class is somewhere between 20.2% and 35%. Yeah, let's do that. What if I, and that might be somewhat accurate. I think the true percentage of people in our class who are going to get an A is somewhere between 20.2% and 35%. We'll see at the end of the semester, but that's my guess. That's my confidence interval. I'm pretty sure the true percentage of people going to get an A is between 20.2 and 35. So now can I change that to a different way of saying the same thing? In other words, can I say, well, what percentage do I really think it's going to come out to be, give or take a little bit of error margin? How could I do that? I'm going to have to find the middle. This is the middle. How can you find the middle of two numbers? The middle of 20.2 and 35. How do you find the middle of two numbers?
What do you subtract?
If you subtract, you'll get how far between them, right? If I have like 10 and 20 and I subtract them, I get 10. That just tells you how far between them.
Then you would divide it, no, by 2.
What if you got a 70% on one test and a 90 on the next? How do you find the middle?
Take the average.
Add them and divide by 2.
You add and divide by 2, don't you? Right? That's how we find the middle. That's the average. We add them and divide by 2, right? So that's what we have to do here. The middle is the average. So to find the middle right here, we take 20.2 and 35. You add them, hit equals, and then divide by 2 and hit equals or enter, you find the average of those two numbers, the middle of those two numbers. And mine's coming out 27.6. So that's the middle. I'll bring that back over here now. So 27 is right in the middle of 27.6 is right in the middle of, it's right here. It's right in the middle of 20.2 and 35. So that's right in the middle. 27.6% is right in the middle. So when I say I think that somewhere between 20.2 and 35% of our class is going to get an A in the end, I'm saying I really think 27.6% of our class is going to get an A in the end. But I realize there's an error, give or take error. So now we got to figure out the error. We got to figure out how far back and how far forward is my error margin. So from 27.6, how far back to the 20.2 and how far forward to the 35. So that's the error margin, right? Is how far forward and backwards from the 27.6, which is the middle, the average. So how do we find the error margin? How much the jump is forward or backwards from the middle?
Subtract either from the right or the left.
Beautiful. The error is going to be the subtraction. Just take 27.6 minus 20.2. You'll get, what's that? 7.4. 7.4% error margin. Yeah, because that's the jump from the middle up or down to the edges, right? So you just subtract the middle minus the bottom number, right? You just take the middle minus the bottom number, and you get the error. And so there we go. We changed forms of that confidence interval statement. There's two ways to say the same things. Everybody see that? And you'll see this all the time when you watch polls in business, marketing. It's important if you want to do well in the professional world, is to understand these kind of statements. People use these all the time in the professional world. Confidence interval statements, error margin statements. So that's what we're talking about here. If they say that their confidence interval goes between 20.2 and 35%, that's the same thing as saying the middle is 27.6, give or take 7.4% error, right? It's back and forth 7.4%. So there we go.